Okay. We'll start with the Mangacharam prayers. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishna Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so once again, so previously, once again, my son is not. Sorry. So previously, what we were discussing is that because of the different manifestation of the Lord's qualities, the devotee was continuously swooning. This is the stage of Prema. So he is continuing from that. Tatavacha purvavati eva tatha tatha bhave api tadantanyaha tu anandamurchayagatu ati naividhye jate tataha prabodhayitum asamarthena eva iva bhagavata shashtam audaryam vitanyate. So in this way, the devotee is just like previously what has happened. He is the Ananda Murcha, that is the swooning that is happening because of the bliss that is arising from within. And when that becomes very dense, he is not able to wake up. So to wake him up, the Lord has to use something extraordinary, because he has manifested his 5 qualities, and in the 5th quality, when he manifested, he went into a great swoon. To wake him up, he manifests his 6th quality, which is audarya, magnanimity. And that quality he spreads out. Tacha teshameva saundaryadinam sarveshameva tat nayanadi sarva indriyeshu eva yugapateva balat vitaranam. So this audarya, magnanimity, takes the form of magnanimity or generosity. What he does, instead of manifesting one quality after another to the devotee senses, he manifests simultaneously all the 5 qualities. That is, his beauty, his fragrance, his softness of the skin, his taste, and his voice. All of these things he manifests simultaneously to the senses of the devotee. So that is his generosity. All the senses he's manifesting to all the senses of the devotee simultaneously. And by that force, he is waking up the devotee. Tadaeva bhagavadingita iva premna api ativardhamanena satha tad anurupa trishna atirekam samvardhya api tatra bhakte swayam chandratvam upeyusha yukapati eva ananda samudra shatalagari yati sammarda bhara jarjaritvam iva tasya antaha. Nirmimanena swayameva sakaragatan manah adhidaivati bhavattvena तथा स्वशक्तिः वितीर्यते यथा योगपद्येन एव ते स्वादा निर्विवादा एव भवन्ति. So at that time, the prema, which understands what the Lord wants to do, right? The prema is in the heart of the devotee. So it understands the intention of the Lord. So and then it grows within the devotee even further. Ativardhamana. To a great extent, it grows in the heart of the devotee. And when the prema grows, also simultaneously, one more thing grows. That is Kṛṣṇa, thirst, longing for the Lord. That also grows. The prema increases and the longingness for the Lord also simultaneously increases. So when that happens, the prema takes the form of a moon. Bhakte swayam chandratvam upayusha. Taking a form of a moon, it agitates the ocean of bliss. So poetic, it's a poetic expression. When the moon comes closer to the ocean gets agitated. So because in the modern science they say gravitation pull, but in poetic sense it agitates the ocean. There are a lot of waves, high waves come out because of that. So here the prema takes the form of the moon and agitates the ocean of bliss within the heart of the devotee. And because of that bliss, he's being torn into pieces. Not literally, but figuratively. His mind is torn into pieces. Great yuddha is happening. Vyati sammardha, a fight, a great fight, tug of war is happening within. Because of that weight, his mind is getting torn into pieces. Nirmimanena swayameva sakara tanmanah adhidevati bhavata eva. So then this prema takes the form of the deity of the mind. So, controller of the mind. It controls, it rules over the mind completely of the devotee. So there is no deviation because the prema is the ruler of the mind of the devotee. The devotee cannot be deviated from that. Tatasva shaktihi vitiryate. It spreads out its shakti in such a way that all the different qualities, the 5 qualities the Lord manifested because of his generosity to the different senses of the devotee, they all become non-contradictory. What does it mean, non-contradictory? That he is able to experience not just only one sensory input. He is able to experience all the 5 sensory input that's coming from the Lord. Nacha eva manasaha anekagrattvena tattad aswadasya asandra iti machyam. Now some people will say, oh, if the mind focuses on only one thing, then that one thing becomes very tense. Suppose I'm listening to somebody keenly, then all my focus, all the focus of my mind, I put on the listening part, that is my ear, so that I can grasp the concept nicely. If I'm eating gulab jamun simultaneously and I'm listening, and I'm watching another movie or something like that, nothing will enter into my ears because my concentration is spread around. So we can also apply the same logic here. Oh, the devotee is actually not focusing on only one senses input, rather he is focusing on 5 inputs. So then it should be very diluted, asandra, very diluted. So Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says one should not say like that. Pratyuta, on the contrary, Saundarya Saurasya Sauswaryadin Prati Sarvendriyanam eva Nayani Bhava Shravani Bhavadyaha Ekada eva Bobhuyamanaha Alaukika Achintya Adbhuta Chamatkaram eva Atanvataha Swadasya Adisandratvam eva Kurvanti. On the contrary, what happens? All the senses, they take on the form of all other senses. All hearing sense, seeing sense, smelling sense, everything becomes hearing sense. And then again, everything becomes seeing senses. And again, everything becomes smelling sense. Simultaneously, they take on that form. And because they take on the form, it is alaukika. It is not inconceivable to our mind. It is not laukika. It is not a mundane thing. It is spiritual thing. So in the spiritual world, it can happen within the devotee. All the senses can simultaneously expand itself to take on the other senses form. This is wonder. This is adbhuta, chamatkara. So taking that wonderful form, it makes all the sensory input very solid, very thick. He's able to experience, the devotee is able to experience everything very nicely to a great extent. Na eva asti tatra laukika anubhava tarka dava dhavatoho avakasha api. We should not put our mundane logic here, based on our mundane experience. In our experience, we cannot do like this. We cannot experience 5 senses inputs simultaneously to a great extent. We cannot do that. So that logic we should not apply to the spiritual matter. That logic is like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying, it is dava davata, it's a burning. So we should not apply that logic, it will just burn us. It's like a pain. Achintya kalu ye bhavahana tan tarkena yojayet ityadehe. In the Mahabharata, there is a verse that says that whatever is achintya, whatever is beyond our conception, chintya means that you can think about. Achintya means you cannot, it's beyond your thinking capacity. We should not apply logic over there. Logic in the sense that how Kṛṣṇa can simultaneously expand one person, how he can become 2 persons, where he will focus. No. How Prema can simultaneously take on the different forms within the devotee's heart. No, we cannot apply our mundane logic there. Doesn't mean that we give up all our logic, but mundane logic in the subject matters which are beyond our experience. Tatavacha saundaryadinam yamanti madhuryani tesham samastyena anubhushav api asmin bhakta chataka chanchu pate jalada in bindu avali iva na mantitani vimrishya aho tarhi maya etani saundaryadini etavanti kimartam dhritani idi tesham Sambhojanaya eva saptamam sarvashakti kadamba parama adhyakshaya agamado api vimala utkarshini adinam ashtadigdaleshu vartamananam Swarupa Shaktinam Madhye eva Karnikaya Maharaja Chakravartinya iva stitaya hi anugraha abhidhana tva abhidhanatvena uktayaha bhagavataha nayana aravinde eva atmanam venjitayaha kripa shakti vilasit. It's a very long sentence. Let's try to break it down. So it ends here, actually, the one sentence. So what happens is the devotee wants to experience all the sweetness, all the sweetness of different qualities of the Lord simultaneously. Just like a small bird in the rainwater tries. There's a bird called the Chataka bird that it drinks rainwater directly. So when heavy rain pours from the sky, this small bird trying to catch all the rainwater, it becomes very miserable. It just flies around everywhere to catch all the drop water. It doesn't want to leave anything. Just like when you are hungry and then there's like a Chappanbhog is prasadam is present in front of you, you just want to taste everything. Especially when you're hungry. You just don't want to leave anything out. But you don't know what to grab. Or should I grab this? Should I grab this? Let me put this in the mouth and let me put that in the mouth. Just as a greedy person, when a shower of money flows from the top, somebody is showering a lot of money from the top, doesn't know which one to grab. He's just running around trying to grab as much as possible within him. So the devotee also, the version of the qualities of the Lord are like the shower, great rain, it's pouring. This is small bird, the devotees, what he could experience is like, small bird. And he's just trying to grab everything. It becomes impossible for him. So Kṛṣṇa sees that he's not able to capture everything. Then he thinks, oh, I am possessing all these qualities, but he's not able to experience everything. Then what's the point of me having to hold all these different qualities? There is no use of these qualities if my devotee cannot experience it. Kṛṣṇa thinks like that. So then to make him experience that, he manifests his 7th quality. 5 qualities we know. 6th quality is audarya, generosity. The 7th quality he is manifesting. The 7th quality is like, it is the controller of all other qualities of Kṛṣṇa. Vimala Utkarshini, he has different Shaktis also. So you take a lotus with 8 petals, which represent 8 Shaktis of the Lord. And in the lotus, the center, the Karnikara, the pericarp of the lotus, in that, this 7th quality, 7th Shakti, it is sitting there like a Chakravarti, a great emperor. And what is that? The name of that quality is Anugraha, compassion, mercy, grace of the Lord. That is like a king. That is like a king sitting in the center of all the Shaktis. His mercy. Taya Bhagavata Nayana Aravinde Eva Atmanam Vyanjayantyaha Kripa Shaktehe Vilasitam. It is a playful nature of his Kripa Shakti, his compassion. Kvachit dasadav vatsalyam iti kvachit karunyam iti priyadav chetadhravaha iti kvachit anukati namna abhidhiyamananam udayate. He gives to different devotees in different qualities. The same Anugraha Shakti manifests differently in different devotees with different rasas. So that's what he's explaining. We'll stop here. We'll continue from next week. I didn't go through the other things. Any questions, any comments you want to make? Okay, so we'll stop here. Thank you everyone for joining today.
Sorry, Prabhuji. I have one question. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Prabhuji, thank you for such a nice class. So my question is related to the qualities that you have mentioned right now. Devotee is experiencing from all his 5 senses.
Yes.
So is this happening in his current material body, or like how is he experiencing? Because this is achintya, as you mentioned. So how this is being experienced by devotee, or his body transformed to a transcendental body, like living in this material world?
So he simultaneously also develops his internal spiritual body when he is going through the stage of Prema. To a certain extent, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying the Prema can be experienced when the devotee is living in this body, but beyond that, he cannot experience. So you can say there are two levels of prema, immature prema and mature prema. So immature prema, like a young, childlike prema, that can be experienced within this body. But when it goes beyond that, he has to give up this body because this body is not unable to hold everything. It will just burst out. So he gives up this body because it becomes useless at that point. And then he continues with this eternal body, eternal spiritual body, where this prema takes on further higher levels, mana, pranaya, and then like that. And to some devotees, it goes onto the stage of mahabhava. So it keeps on going further stages also. In the second volume of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rupa Goswami describes these additional stages beyond prema. But then he says that for the sadhaka, there is no point in giving so much explanation on this because he's not going to experience all these things. So he stops at there. He doesn't go into the detail. However, in Ujjwala Nilamani, he explains different stages quite in detail, though.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. For me, it's no point asking, but yeah, just for everyone's clarity.
So it is also good because Rupa Goswami also gave Ujjwala Nilamani. The point is that we develop desire for that, though we may not be able to experience it. Suppose somebody like Prabhupada is talking about the spiritual world. So we will not be able to experience how the spiritual world is going to be, how Goloka Vrindavan is going to be, what Kṛṣṇa is going to perform there. We may not be able to see Kṛṣṇa in this body. It does not mean that we should not read about that, because by reading about that, we get a desire for that. And that desire takes us there. Just like if you're a businessman, Sachinanda Hari Prabhu, that even though you may not have achieved the goal, but just looking at the goal, you develop some desire to achieve that. Like that.
Okay. Thank you very much. There's one comment from Shankaran Prabhuji. Shankaran Prabhuji, please.
Yes. Thank you very much, Rajivan Prabhu. When you are narrating all these different qualities, and we mentioned that Kripa is Krishna's compassion is actually the king of all the qualities, that reminded me of Damodar Leela. There, Bhakti, Vishwanath Thakur also mentions there that when Yashoda is trying to bind Krishna and other Shaktis, Aishwarya, Krishna's Aishwarya Shakti, Krishna's Satya Kama Shakti, that says, no, I have to go and play, she cannot bind me. So Krishna's determination that I want to go and play, that Shakti is not allowing him to be bound. His Aishwarya Shakti is saying, no, who can bind you, the Supreme Lord? But then Karuna Shakti appeared, and as you beautifully explained that, with the devotee cannot relish. Mother Yashoda is so desperate to bind Krishna, and she cannot even relish binding Krishna. And Krishna's Kripa Shakti appears and says, okay, let Mother Yashoda experience the binding.
Jai. That is a very beautiful Prabhu. We could relate it very nicely.
Jai. So, Prabhu, one more question about Kripa only. You mentioned Kripa is the highest of all the qualities of Krishna, right? So, we see two categories of Siddhas. One is like Sadhana Siddha and another is Kripa Siddha. So, here we see like Krishna is doing Kripa because that devotee already achieved Prema, right? And then by his Karuna Shakti or Kripa Shakti, he's trying to give whatever qualities devotee cannot experience. He's helping Krishna in that way. He's doing Kripa. But in another commentary I read, that means one of the commentary, when we see like he is a Kripa Siddha Bhakta, means Krishna is doing Kripa without any Means without him doing anything, he didn't need to go undergo anything like Brahmana Patnis, right? So what is that Kripa Shakti? Means what is different from the Kripa that you have mentioned right now? Like it's mentioned in the commentary here in Madhurya Kādambini, the Kripa that we see on the ordinary living Krishna is doing.
Yeah, sometimes Krishna manifests his Kripa Shakti, especially when he manifests in this world, when he becomes visible in this world. He manifests his Kripa Shakti, especially to people who are unable to, get bhakti, just like the case of Putana. She's no way qualified to become a dhatri, nurse for Krishna, or, attain the status of Yashoda Mai, like a mother, another mother. It's no way qualified. She didn't do any bhakti. She wasn't chanting or anything like that. But still, she attained that position. That is the Kripa Siddhanta, we call them. They did not do sadhana, but they attained through mercy. So he does that. He manifests to show that he also possesses that Kripa Shakti, that sometimes it manifests. But again, if he manifests that to everywhere, then becomes a problem, because then it's also forcefully changing the living entity's will. So Kripa Shakti is in one sense that, living entity is desiring something else, you are just converting into what it's not desiring, right? So, but then once the living entity sees the other side, it won't go back. So Putana becomes a nurse, Dhatri, she's not going to think that, the other position was better or anything like that. But still the living entity hasn't by his own will, by his or her own will, come to the Lord. To show that he also has this extraordinary Kripa Shakti, Krishna sometimes manifests to especially people who have fallen very low. For others, he just let the natural course take its path. That, he gives bhakti through his devotees. When he is there, he spreads bhakti directly. But through his devotees, when he is not there, through his devotees like Srila Prabhupada, he spreads the bhakti to everyone. Everyone, he gives a chance to practice that bhakti and then attain that state gradually. So that, one comes by one's own will rather than by changing the Atma's nature. So it doesn't manifest that everywhere. So we see in the case of even outside Bharata Bhumi also, the case of Jesus Christ, when he came, he was giving the grace of the Lord for so much unqualified people there. He just, just like Prabhupada, right? He just came and said, love the Lord with all your heart. And then just people just like that turned. We could see amazing comparison between Jesus Christ and Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada also goes everywhere and then he says, join me. And then the devotees just to give up everything and then they join the movement. We don't see that, so much happening now. But during the Prabhupada time, he just asks, join me. And then everybody go and join them. Like that, even Jesus Christ was also doing outside. So the Kripa Shakti is there of the Lord, is there in the devotees. And the devotees go and spread that Kripa Shakti to everywhere. And we can also become a conductor for that Kripa Shakti. How much ever we have, attuned ourselves to that Kripa Shakti, that much we can pass on to the next person. So just like I was hearing from Radhanath Maharaj, just like a wire conductor, when you want to pass electricity, there is the resistance that grows within the conductor to minimize the flow of the electricity. The entire electrical engineering, they innovate so many ways to increase the flow of that energy into that conductor. So like that, if we also develop, because of our anathas, resistance to the flow of the grace that's happening through the devotee upon us, then we won't get so much kripa within us, and then we also cannot pass that much kripa to others. So we become good conductor, we can pass on the Kripa Shakti nicely, just like we see in the case of Prabhupada, who was able to immediately pass on the Kripa Shakti, and people were just giving up everything, their life, whole life, without thinking what state I'm going to attain, what is going to be my future. Nothing they were thinking, they were just joining the movement left and right. That is the flow of that Kripa Shakti directly happening from there. So when Krishna is there, he personally manifests. When he is not there, he manifests that Kripa Shakti through his devotees. Again, he lets sadhana, devotees gradually come through the sadhana bhakti rather than changing them abruptly, which he does once in a while.
Yeah, very nicely explained, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
So we just wanted to share one thing. In the recently Gaur Purnima lecture, Maharaj mentions how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he gives kripa to so many devotees, and he mentions so many different pastimes in her lecture. Everybody got kripa, So it was a beautiful lecture. Thank you.
Yeah, this is, you are talking about the Mahaprakash Leela?
No, there are a few Brahmanas, right? Digvijay Brahmana, and then there was other Brahmana in his childhood pastime when he comes and offers. He comes to his home and offers prasadam. So he was comparing those. Then he was saying that the big king like Maharaj Pratap Rudra got the mercy, and then even the poorest people like Sridham, he got the mercy. So he was giving so many different incidents in her lecture that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu freely give mercy to everyone.
Yeah, he's the Audarya, he's manifesting his generosity and giving his mercy to everyone. That's why he comes to South India. He just, within one day only, he will just make a devotee, a Prem Bhakta. And then that Prem Bhakta will go on to spread to his village. And then others become Prem Bhaktas. And then they go on to spread that mercy. That mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can continue through so much, so many conductors. It's so much, potent. People could just turn within a day. The stage of attain the stage of Prema. Thank you for sharing, Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Stop here. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Chakalpatarupyasya
You can end this recording, Prabhuji.
Yeah, okay.
You're the host.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.